What is up, Rad Potential YouTube, and welcome to today's video working on the rally car. If you guys are new here, my name's Eric, aka the man with the plan running the show. So, what we got in store today, as you saw by the title and the description, all the nonsense, we are putting the injectors, engine harness, and laying in the body harness on the Mill and Tribute race car. So, if you're new to this whole series, this video, this whatever, the whole deal, this is a 1984 Mazda Rx7. This is going to be a replica of the 1984 all-wheel drive Rx7 that Rod Millen raced in Group B. It's gonna, I say replica, it's not all-wheel drive. It's just gonna look like it. So it's gonna have the same graphics and all that stuff on it. Working on paint. Calvin's gonna be down here in a week, and we're gonna finish up the back half of the car and get the car primed. So that's a big step, right? And then I gotta block it, and then ideally the first or second weekend in March, he's coming down to spray it white. By that time, the car should be running, driving, ready to go. All it'll need is just sprayed, and once it's sprayed, we'll let it sit for a week, throw the graphics on it, and then it's ready to get sold. So pretty stoked for that. If you're here to buy the car, bring a trailer, it'll be up. So what do we got to do? I pulled the injectors and intakes and stuff from the brown Rx7 outside because I was fucking with that, or messing with that one to get it running. We've got to lay, this is the chassis engine harness here. So we've got to lay all of this stuff in. The engine harness is ready to be installed. It is chilling right here under these little pieces of weather stripping. Little dusty, but it's already been restored and rewrapped. So this be the engine harness. The ECU is still in the brown car, but I need to just pop the plugs and pull it out. And the rear chassis harness can be ran. It's tucked up there. And then basically this just needs the seats, the e-brake hooked up. Put the shifter in it. The little things. So all that stuff will get done. I do need to hang the doors on it at some point, but you know, until I keep knocking them over, maybe break one of them, then I'll put them on the car. So let's get cracking on putting some stuff on, and I'll show you guys once I get to laying in the engine harness, kind of the details of that, and I'll show y'all when I get this stuff going on, kind of just run through what each relay does so you guys will know what they do. Let's go. Alright guys, quick break from the work in the shop. Got to pop the radiator out of the Cosmo. And you might ask, why are we taking the radiator out of the Cosmo? Well, since my Cosmo, since my Cosmo has no desire to be 100% original factory goodness, stock, OEM, all that sort of jazz, I don't care for the original radiator. As far as I'm concerned, I'll put an aluminum radiator in it or whatever radiator I have laying around, right? So, because of that, there's a friend of mine out in, let me pause this. So there's a friend of mine out in New Mexico, Arizona area, I think. His name's Brian. He's who made my little Repu Hot Wheels car. What was I getting? An extension. He's who made my little Repu Hot Wheels car for me. And he hit me up, said he's got a customer with a Cosmo. And this customer wants to keep his Cosmo 100% OEM, i.e. does not want to put an aluminum radiator in it. So, he watches the videos, saw that I had my original radiator, asked me if I'd part ways with it, and I said sure. So I'm popping this out, got to run it to a radiator shop this week, get it all redone so it'll get like cleaned and resealed and all that jazz. I don't think it has any leaks, but you can see some seeps kind of coming out of it maybe. Hopefully that doesn't leak. The other thing that we need, and y'all might be like, oh, what the heck, why do you take apart cars and stuff? Well, you know, somebody took it apart before me. I need a relay for the race car, one which I cannot find, one which resides right here, this big boy. So, we're going to steal it from this car. Most likely, it's in the shop somewhere. Ooh, that might have a different plug than what mine has. Alright, I know that's different than what mine has. Maybe I don't need it. So, as it turns out, I don't need that extra thing that was here on the other car, because on this car, I just have these three things here, which is what I already have. It's crazy because all of them are actually 84 GSL SEs. One thing I am noticing, though, is on this side, is that there's this large connector right here. This guy, the 6-prong, and I don't think that I have that plug on the other car. Man, I need to really get the grass out of this thing or move it or something. Alright, my guys, break in the action. We now have the coils, headlight motors, booster, and clutch master just sitting in there. I put rock guard in the floor so that like glossy style clear textured stuff, just like where your feet go, so you don't wear through the paint super quick. Anyways, that stuff's still drying, so I haven't put the bolts in for the booster and the clutch master. I got to put the clutch slave on. All that stuff's back on. The booster feed tube, the whatever, the other deal on this side. Heater line's in. The wiring's all ran where it needs to go. Zip tied in place for now until we put little like P-clamps wherever we need them. Coils are hooked up. The main power stuff's hooked up. I still have to... So kind of like outlining a little bit of where your wiring harness goes real quick. All of this stuff, I've noticed differences in the same year of car. So, 2 relays, another relay. I think this is some sort of a relay. Same things here. All plug in and mount right here. Here's your configuration. You're going to have a 2-prong little dealy whopper here for the brake. There's a light, like a low-level brake light in there. And then I have these 2 plugs here that aren't plugged into anything. And I don't know what they go to just yet. I can look at the wires, but there's not an extra relay on this car. There's not an extra relay on the other 84 that I have. The one that I know has had some funky wiring stuff done to it has a relay there, and then the one that's down there, the brown car, has that relay as well. So I don't know if that's a cruise control thing or whatever, but we're not using it for now. We're going to keep it like this. So this big plug here has 2 plugs in it. These 2 plugs go to the small wiring harness that would run to like your transmission, reverse lights, oil level sensor, oil pressure sensor, coolant temp sensor, all that stuff. So that little harness, I still have to wrap it. It's hanging up over here. But that plugs in there. It runs down. This harness, which you see coming up tall, is the harness that goes to your distributor, your alternator, and then I think this little 2-prong guy goes all the way over to the other side, like the BAC of sorts. I'll look and see where it goes, but pretty sure that's where that one goes. If it doesn't, then this one might go to like the low light oil sensor, but I don't think that's what it is. With how it's formed, you know, and where it's sitting, it's definitely going to like the BAC side of things. So that's that harness. You then have these 2 plugs here, which the harness is pinned into these cast plastic deals. So these are where your fusible links or your fuses go. Those receive full beans power on this side. So if you're like me and not going to put your battery back up here and the battery is going to go in the car, I'm going to hook those 2 screws there. The positive feeds for the fuse boxes are going to go to the starter. The starter is getting fed full power from my main kill on-off switch inside the car. That main kill on-off switch goes to the battery. So that's how this is wired up. You might need power in other places, but this is generally where all the power goes to in the car besides to the starter, and then from there, that's where it all goes out and goes into the harness, etc. So this relay, I don't know what it does, but it's here. That one is usually mounted. This one's broke, but it's mounted right here on your factory car. You then have your coolant temperature, like your light, the thing that beeps at you really mad when your coolant's low. Same thing here, some choke cutoff switches. The long one is the headlight. This one here, don't be afraid if it's not hooked up to anything, this little 3-prong, this goes to your fog lights if you have that add-on. Headlight motor plug is usually up here. These little single ones, if you look at the, or I could say the double ones, red with a green stripe is your running lights. So you'll have a red with a green stripe plug like at the tail lights, you'll have one at the license plate lights, at your marker lights. All the stuff that comes on with your running lights goes to the red with the green stripe, just so you know. Same over here, headlight plug, fog light plug, the harness for the headlight motor. This spot here is your red with the green stripe wire right there for your marker light. I think this one here, this 2-pin in the ground, go to the is the wiper squirter? I think it's the wiper squirter or the cruise control. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might probably wrong on that one. I know the wiper box, sprayer box does sit back here. So one of these, I guess, is the wiper squirter control. The yellow one, I think, is a diagnostic connector. And then these 2 go to the... No, because wiper's pulled from the inside. What goes right here? Maybe your cold start assist box or something. Or do they hop to the BAC? Cruise control, maybe, because cruise control would live back here. So that's what those go, and they run all the way around the front. That's just the body harness. The engine harness comes out of this hole and goes and connects to injectors, TPS, coolant temperature sensor on the back of the water pump. O2 sensor comes out of the engine harness. All your BAC plugs will come out of the engine harness. All your the colored plugs for your emissions control solenoids and stuff, same deal. So I did go and pull the ECU from the brown car. So this is the ECU that I know works and came from this car. You can see by how dusty it is. So that ECU is fixing to go in there, like I said, waiting for the floor stuff to dry. This is the crankcase breather tube to dry. That one goes over here and connects to your charcoal canister, which I've already freshly scripted and painted. This guy here, the panels, the radiator panels, I painted the uprights of it white. And drop a comment below if you can guess what color I'm going to paint this, but I think I might paint this white as well. This is the top valence that goes across in front of the radiator. So on all Mazdas, that piece is black, and the actual supports for the radiator are black and everything, but I like to keep everything white in this car because the car is white, for one, but two, white means everything's brighter, easier to see leaks, easier to see dirt. Yeah, it might get dirty and get stained quicker, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for just cleaner. Black, I think, scratches and looks terrible. I don't know. Obviously, these other accent pieces and stuff, painting them black's easier than painting everything white. I think it doesn't look good if you just spray over everything, but we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. I got to get most of this stuff buttoned up here today, get the plug wires on it, get the alternator on it, bolt the motor in, and get the starter installed. And unfortunately, the floor isn't dry, so tomorrow my plan is to start laying in the battery, laying in the main power feeds and stuff, getting my big switch where it needs to go. So look forward to that in the next video. But I do need to make an order from LRB Speed as well. I think I'm going to go ahead and replace the whole center console with a blank one so that I can do the switches and stuff I need in where the radio is. Mine is a little bit cracked, but two, I don't have the a good ashtray for it and all that, so I'm just going to do away with it, get an aluminum one. Alright, so we have concluded the rally car video, sorta kinda. As you can see, I have a radiator in my hand. It's, you know, after a day's work, swing by the local radiator shop. I suggest you get to know in your town, if you're a bigger town, all the cool local spots. So like in Nashville, you have A1 Radiator right next to Tennessee Clutch and Supply. Both of those spots are run by lovely older gentlemen who've been running the same shop, doing the same thing for a ton of years. And when you get to know them, they hook you up. So this radiator, had it leak tested. It's got some pinholes in it here, and there's one here where it got smacked by something. So the dude told me it's going to need a new core, which means that for both me and the guy out west I was asking about it, that means it just gets to sit like that and probably never get used because, you know, I won't put a stock one back in now that I know that one leaks. I won't throw it away because I'm not that kind of guy. You can still record, I guess, eventually, but regardless, let's go check on the race car so that I can go back to the office. Yes, not getting to spend a night in the shop because we got some deadlines at I'm a civil engineer. Got some deadlines we need to get this week's stuff. Clients want stuff done quick. So, it's looking prime, guys. It's looking sick. We got this thing painted white. The valence and surround is normally black on all these cars, but I opted to paint it white just because the rest of the bay is white. You can see here from the front end impact that it doesn't quite fit perfect, but once the hood's on it, when you look at it from this side, looks fine. So I've got all the wiring laid in, as you saw earlier. I still haven't yet mounted the booster and the clutch sleeve, but they're in there. I did hang this door while you guys are away. Gotta love that first gen Rx7 door squeak. And it's looking like my textured stuff's dry now, so. Woo! That's a bad one, let me tell you. So I can't lube it because I gotta paint. I gotta paint all this. All this gets painted white. See my tape line here? This side stays black, that side will stay white. Thanks, dog. So, what do we have in store for the next video? I have to install the engine harness, so look forward to that. Kind of like this video, I want to go through the engine harness, show you guys what plugs go to what. That way, you know, when you are putting one of these together, that you know what plugs go to what. You know where things go, because a lot of people, and on the interwebs, stuff like that's not documented unless you label it when you take it apart. So, get stoked. I've got vinyl stuff coming. Ideally, got to get the right colors, but I've got everything kind of scienced out, what colors I need. I talked to some people about figuring out how to install vinyl, how long to wait after you paint it, etc. And then I also just ordered LRB speed door panels, a center console panel, and the defroster vents. From them, I also ordered an antenna plug for here. Landon and Rebecca, super cool people, and be stoked to get that stuff from them. Hopefully they're not too busy. I know a lot of their stuff's make to order, so I ordered it in advance. I don't need it for another month, but we'll just try to get it here. So with that, thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something in the video about RX7s here today, putting all this stuff together. And thanks for 2,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this and we already have a good bit more than 2,000, well, when I made the video, we just got 2,000 subscribers, and I'm stoked. You know, every single one of you guys, I really appreciate you guys watching the videos and commenting and helping me help you learn more about these old cars and cool things to build and, you know, new stuff. It's a win-win. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep it rad. See you in the next one. Yo, it's not that cold. Let's go for a walk, huh? Let's go for a walk. Let's go. She gets excited.